Welcome back to what we Americans like to call our nation's capital. Last year I made a video in which I visited offices of as many unrecognized countries, governments in exile, and autonomous regions as I possibly could in a single day. And I'm back. I'm going to try it again. This time I'm going to give myself 2.5 days. Lots of tribal governments have their own representations here in Washington. And right behind me there is the representative office of the Chickasaw Nation, which is one of the largest tribal governments in the country. The Chickasaw people that they represent are located in Oklahoma. That's after they were forcibly moved west in the 19th century. But they have a representative here in DC and a small staff. America's roughly 400 recognized tribal governments are considered sovereign. They do get to set their own laws, and they have different taxation policies. And it's just a small way to try and redress the historical injustices that the Native American peoples have suffered here in the U.S. This is the Embassy of the Islamic Republic of Afghanistan, which, as you may know, was overthrown by the Taliban in 2021. And when that happened, this embassy became an embassy without a government. It remained open, but eventually, about a year later, in 2022, the U.S. State Department forced it to close. And since then, there's been no consular or embassy service for Afghanistan citizens who live in the United States. Now, lots of other embassies of the Islamic Republic faced similar predicaments. The one in London was just forced to close recently. Operating without a government is difficult because you don't have any funding. Diplomats go unpaid, but it does allow them the chance to renew the passports of Afghans who live in that country, which is a really important, if you don't want to be deported back to Afghanistan, you need a passport to prove, to get a visa so that you have the right to remain somewhere. It's really important. Why did the U.S. government force this embassy to shut? I'm not sure exactly, but one thing we can say for sure, it definitely is shut. The doors are locked. There's chains on the gates. The windows look like they're in very bad repair. There's no sign of any activity. The newspaper is still being delivered, which is surprising. But yeah, Islamic Republic of Afghanistan, their embassy is still here. It's just closed. I've left DC, I've come just over the border to Alexandria, Virginia, and I'm here on the waterfront where in just a few minutes, I'm going to meet someone I'm very excited to meet.
I'm Ermias Sahle Selassie. I was born with a formal title, which is His Imperial Highness Prince Ermias Sahle Selassie. I am currently president of the Ethiopian Crown Council. The Crown Council has always been part and parcel of institutions as far as the monarchy is concerned. And it was always an advisory body to the emperor. And often it was senior members of the Solomonic dynasty, people such as my uncle who were the crown prince who led it in the old days. So its role was really in an advisory capacity. Sort of a sounding board. Today, we have decided not to take a political role and focus more on Ethiopian unity and Ethiopian identity, which really is being tested at the moment because we have now kind of devolved into ethnic enclaves, and we're losing that sense of Ethiopianism. And this whole I think it's a Marxist concept of self-determination and ethnic identity has not served Ethiopia well. And in the future, I hope the younger generation realizes there is strength in unity and that we will at least revert back to some form of unified nation. And I don't know what shape that it will take, but we will willing to play a role in that. The Crown Council essentially also had a religious role in terms of at least the emperor was always defender of the faith. So Of course, it has also a role in Ethiopian Orthodoxy, which is a very ancient Christendom faith. It's a living faith. But also at the same time, it was a body, basically, that tolerated the different religions in Ethiopia, including Islam, Judaism, and so forth. I think it has certainly a role within African unity, for instance, and also in terms of the African diaspora worldwide. I mean,
Okay.
Into the Caribbean, into Central America, and so forth, because Ethiopia was unconquered. It was an independently developed nation that gave pride to really the history of black people worldwide who, through slavery, to being colonized, had suffered a great deal. So I think that sense of independence resonates with these people. So it has a role in that. And of course, His Majesty was very active internationally. So he got Ethiopia known worldwide. And that's very important because today we're just another, poor African country and really have lost that sense of pride in really who we are and what we represent to a larger worldwide community. So we have also been engaged in practical things like education, sponsoring scholarships, renovating schools, helping renovate the cathedrals. These are just steps of goodwill that eventually what form it will take will always depend on the Ethiopian people. How they will decide, whether they say, well, you're royal, you can be honorary citizen, live amongst us, we're fine with that. Because we've had the opposite. If they want to incorporate it more formally, have it play a cultural role, even better.
It's been a huge honor to speak to you and to learn about the Crown Council. And that's all I can say is thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And it was an additional pleasure because I know you've experienced Ethiopia. You know the feelings, you know the people, and that makes all the difference. And I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is the Embassy of Denmark, which is very much an official embassy here in Washington. But housed within it is the representation of Greenland, the autonomous part of Denmark, which has been in the news of much lately because of President Trump's desire to annex it. I have been trying to make contact. Whoa. Okay. A few hours after I filmed that segment in front of the Danish embassy, I received an email from Rebecca Lunga, the deputy head of representation from the Greenland Representation Office, with a statement that I could read in the video, which is fantastic. It's a little bit long, so I'm not going to read the whole thing. If you want to check out the whole thing, it's in the pinned comment below, but here are the highlights. The Greenland representation to the United States and Canada, located in Washington, D.C., is the official office of the Government of Greenland in North America. While it is not an embassy in the traditional sense, it functions as Greenland's diplomatic mission for all matters that fall under Greenland's self-governing authority. Much of what matters to everyday life and Greenland's future is already governed by Greenland itself, which is why it is essential that Greenland has its own voice in Washington, engaging directly with U.S. and Canadian institutions, think tanks, Indigenous partners, and businesses. So I was really delighted to get this, and I wanted to thank Ms. Lunga and wish her and the rest of the team at the mission the best of luck as they navigate what is undoubtedly a very difficult diplomatic terrain. Speaking of difficult terrains, check out what happens next. Now, to get to my next visit, I'm going to be taking a path through Rock Creek, and this path begins right on the edge of the Denmark embassy. I was really surprised to see that's where it starts. So basically, it looks like I'm skirting around the gate, but I'm actually going to be on a path which will take me to the next unofficial, unrecognized, closed embassy. So yeah, let's go see what happens. In my last video, lots of people asked me why I didn't include a Palestinian diplomatic mission to DC, and that's because there isn't a diplomatic mission of the Palestinian people to DC. And the reason there isn't one is because it was closed. This was it here on Wisconsin Avenue. It was called the General Delegation of the Palestinian Liberation Organization, the PLO. And it was opened here in 1994, just a year after the signing of the Oslo Accords with Yasser Arafat and Bill Clinton here in Washington. And it served as the voice of the Palestinian Authority, the Palestinian state, if you will, until 2018, when the Trump administration shut it down. Their reason for shutting it down was because Palestinian officials were accusing Israeli officials of war crimes and reporting it to the International Criminal Court. And Trump didn't like this. And in a fit of pique, they closed the mission down. It is a real shame that there's this massacre going on in the world, and the people being massacred are without a voice here in Washington. I'm back at the Florida Embassy. I was here last year for the first video, and I got here too late to sample some of the orange juice that is supposedly available inside. So I've come back for a quick trip to get some orange juice. So let's go see.
Completely nonpartisan, non-political here, just like other embassies. Their goal is to celebrate and further the home country. Just in this case, it's the home state.
So really, after Georgia, you might be the best state in the country.
So yeah, well, I'm of course biased, yes. But our mission here is to connect, celebrate, and champion Florida to the world.
I'm back in Alexandria, Virginia. I'm standing outside of a very special embassy for me to be able to visit. This is the Somaliland mission to the United States, and I have been invited to go in and meet the ambassador and his team. And yeah, I'm very excited. So let's go check it out.
My name is Bashir Goth. I'm Somaliland representative to the United States. The mission here, we work like any other mission, like any other diplomatic mission in the United States. We don't have only that label, that recognized diplomatic office, but otherwise we are a diplomatic office. The administration and the Congress and the think tanks and everybody else deals with us like an embassy. America having relations and strengthening relations with Somaliland serves the interests of America in security, in safety, and prosperity. Then that's where it comes, okay, this is a country that we can do business with. They are democratic, they hold elections, they are peaceful, they are stable, they are in that very important, geopolitically important place in the Horn of Africa. They prevent terrorism and piracy from their region without international help. That's an amazing story that they relate to, and they like to do business with a country like that. People get, they are taken back or say, is there a place like that in Africa, and especially in the Horn of Africa? But then that's the glamour of it. That's the attraction of the story of Somaliland, and they really then listen. They say, wow. This is new to me. Can you tell me more? And then we tell them more. Whatever America does here, American influence is all over the world. So if we get inroads in the United States, Somaliland gets inroads in the United States. If we advance our cause in the United States, if we get sympathy and understanding in the United States, others will follow. Recognition will open doors for us. We don't have access to international financial institutions like the World Bank, International Monetary Fund, which is very important for every country in the world. We can't have meaningful investment in our country, direct foreign investment, if we don't have recognition. Every single day, Fredo, every single day, I meet U.S. businesses who are interested in Somaliland. Even this week, I'm going to meet 2 business people. They're interested in Somaliland for different reasons and for different areas of business. But the problem is, when they want to go to any country, not only Somaliland, any country, they have to talk to the State Department. And they ask, I want to make an investment or go to that country, what do you think? If the State Department gives them a kind of red line, warning, then they won't go there. So we are under an unfair travel advisory that actually applies to Somalia, not to us, literally, but as long as the world considers us as part of Somalia, it also includes us. So they lump us with a country that we don't belong to. So that's a problem for the business people. So we are fighting to remove that, so that the world, especially the United States where I am now, distinguish the two and say Somaliland is different, peaceful, stable, and they know that. But it's the international system that lumps us together. So we have that obstacle and we will overcome it. There's no country in the world that can do it all alone. No country, including the United States. So we need that synergy with the rest of the world so we can unlock our potential. And I usually also say Somaliland is the Cinderella of Africa.
Is the what? Sorry?
Cinderella.
Oh,
okay? Waiting to be discovered. They're beautiful. Beauty is there, okay? The little princess.
So you showed up to
waiting
the
to be, yeah, exactly.
waiting to meet Prince Charming.
Yes, absolutely. And Prince Charming will be the first country that recognizes us.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Fredo, for making to our office and taking all that trip to come to us and give us your time. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Very much appreciate. And we appreciate what you did for Somaliland through the years. I have watched some of your documentaries and they're fantastic. Thank you. You're part of the campaign.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome. Thank you.
Behind me is the Embassy of Mexico to the United States, but also in the same building is the interest section of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Interest sections provide consular services like passports and visas in countries where there are no formal diplomatic relations, which is currently the case between the US and Iran. So you can go in there and get a visa to Iran or an Iranian passport if you qualify for one. They don't technically engage in any diplomatic work. Maybe that happens unofficially, but officially they don't. And they're tolerated, I guess you could say, as a presence of Iran here in Washington, D.C. And I haven't arranged anything with anyone there to go in, but I thought I'd just walk up and see what happens. Hi, I just heard that Iran has an interest here in the building. Can I just go and look at the door? Is that it? Are they open? Sorry? But that's Iran. That's Iran, their office. No, I sent an email. I've been doing it for a couple of years, so I've never heard back from them. I just wanted to talk to someone, yeah, and briefly. It's okay, don't worry. All right, thank you. So yeah, I went inside, two very nice people there. It is interesting to know that Iran has an interest section here right next to the Mexico embassy. So there we are. The Iranian interest section here in Washington, D.C. I'm on East Capitol Avenue in the very eastern part of the District of Columbia. Behind me there is an office which represents the Khmer Krom people, a people which I'm embarrassed to say I know almost nothing about. This is the headquarters of the Krom-Kampuchea Krom Federation, which was just opened last month. So that's very exciting. I've been invited to go in and meet one of the representatives. And let's go find out some more about the Khmer Krom people.
Well, my name is Samon Tach, Deputy Treasurer for the Khmer-Kampuchea Krom Federation. I'm honored to welcome you to our headquarters. Yeah, the Khmer Krom people are the people who currently live in the southern part of Vietnam. Current Khmer living in Cambodia, we call them Khmer. But Khmer who live in the southern part of Vietnam, we call ourselves Khmer Krom. Krom meaning below or southern. And then people will say, why don't you go live in Khmer, right? In Cambodia? Well, we're not. We were born there. We were raised there for centuries. And why do we want to migrate somewhere else, right? That is our home. Yeah. We can't even wear our identity over there. So if they or raise a flag like outside here, they'll come and take it down and ask who did that, and they'll handcuff them. We've been trying to find a way to be more effective in advocacy work for the Khmer Krom people and the Khmer Krom issue. So opening a headquarter, first time ever, right? It's a kind of historical moment for the Khmer Krom movement too, for the KKF. So here you will meet all sort of big player, in the world, right? Everybody meet in DC, KKF is focused on transforming advocacy into tangible change. Our goal are to secure the release of the 15 Khmer Krom Buddhist monk and activists who currently imprisoned in Vietnam for peacefully promoting indigenous and religious rights. And the next goal would be to achieve a recognition of the Khmer Krom as indigenous people in accordance to the UN DRIP. So it's kind of United Nations Declaration of the Right of Indigenous People. And then we want to demand Vietnam to respect the Khmer Krom right to self-identification. So meaning, we want to speak our own language, teach our own history, and self-identify without coercion. This is our national hero. His name is Honorable Oknya Seung Kui. He was the governor of Pret-a-Peng. During the 19th century, he was captured. He negotiated with the Vietnamese government back then that to let the Khmer Krom people live, so that in exchange he will sacrifice himself. So in order for the Khmer Krom people culture and tradition to be alive to this day, he gave his head to the Vietnamese government in 1841. As I speak, I feel, spiritually, that he's with me. Thank you again for interviewing me today. I hope this conversation inspires your viewers to stand with us, to lend a hand in advocating for the voiceless Khmer Krom who are still struggling for their rights, dignity, and freedom in their homeland of Kampuchea Krom. Your viewer support can help make a real difference. Thank you.
building you see behind me is known as the Old Korean Legation. It was Korea, then known as Joseon's, first embassy in a Western country, opened in 1889. But then it was forced to shut in 1905 when Japan came in and sort of took over Korea. When Korea, then divided, regained its independence after World War II, it was unable to recover its old legation building. And so this was just a private house for many decades. But then the South Korean government bought the building and restored it over many years, and it was reopened to the public in 2018. It's now a museum, a free museum. It's been restored to what it looked like in the late 19th century. From what I can see, it looks absolutely amazing inside. And I've got a ticket booked, so let's go check it out.
Forget what I did, what happened to you, baby, all night, and do it for me. It feels like I'm losing my mind.
Behind me is the Free Peoples of Russia House, an organization which represents the resistance to Putin's regime in Russia. It's led by a man named Ilya Ponomarev, who's one of the more well-known resistance politicians in Russia. He was a member of the State Duma from 2007 to 2016, and during that time he voted against some of the more homophobic legislation that was passed and also Russia's annexation of Ukraine. He went into exile following Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, and since then has founded the Congress of People's Deputies, which is a transitional parliament made up of former Russian elected officials like himself, and it meets several times a year in Warsaw. I sent an email asking if I could have a quick interview last minute, and I got a response from Mr. Ponomarev himself, which was really nice. He says he's not available today. While I was researching this little spiel that I'm giving you now, I noticed that today is his birthday. So that's why he's not available, and I wouldn't have wanted to disturb him. But happy birthday, Ilya, and many happy returns. I hope I get to see you on my next visit to DC. I'm at Washington Dulles Airport. I'm just getting ready to board a flight back to the UK. My 2.5 days in Washington have come to an end, and what an amazing time it's been. I wanted to thank all the dignitaries and officials who helped me to make this video, either by appearing on camera or providing support off camera or through emails. It's been fantastic. There are still other embassies and offices I have yet to visit that I'd like to, so maybe there'll be a part 3. If this sort of content does interest you, be sure to subscribe, because I can tell you this is the sort of content I love to make, and I will continue to do so. So thanks very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.